Yeah, sorry I was a little late today. I mean, um, and it doesn't really make a difference because I wouldn't be trading anyways. But hmm. I think that we could see a market maker buy model potentially coming under these lows. What's up, JL?
We bounce.
I told your ass we were gonna dump yesterday. We were up here.
Right now we bounce.
Yeah, that SMT divergence on ETH was the main reason why I was pretty confident. That shit hits, I'm telling you. I mean, I don't use it for anything but I haven't used it for anything but the bearish narrative, but it's been pretty consistent every time I've tried to use it. If ETH makes a higher high and Bitcoin fails to do so, then you can, and especially if there is bearish TA along with that, you can expect a retracement. Because that happened, like we were like right here. It's like the top. Almost. Or no, I'm sorry. It was right here. It was right in this candle because this is when we were streaming. Yeah, what I see potentially is taking out these equal lows and maybe even taking out the major daily equal lows and giving like a market maker buy model. Because when I look at it, I don't think this is the first consolidation up here, but I could see that we have the 1, 2, and then potential consolidation down here.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I think. That's just going up the law of three. Like, and we see how we're forming these like little 3 drives right here and here, and then in here, and they're doing their job, what they're meant to do. But I think it's part of like a larger 3 drive on the 4 hour. If I look at it like that, and then also that kind of goes with the weekly bias that I want these lows to get taken. That would be fire. It's weird. This week's pretty iffy with NFP coming up. There's a lot of money being moved around. Larger investors are kind of preparing themselves, and you're not going to see as much movement on some pairs. Like Bitcoin this week is really just, it's literally almost that weekly open still. We've seen nice movement, but it's not really showing an intention that it wants to expand for the week. Like we went over USD CAD yesterday. That was a beautiful example of the weekly candle structure. We literally came right under that weekly open, formed that low on Tuesday, got above the weekly open, never turned back. And we're going right up to this level right here, this high. Take out these stops. And this is a good example of a very clean market that I didn't participate in this at all, but very, very clean price action here. Euro dollar also, I think Vench, or it's like Vanch in the server. I wanted to take this sell. He took a sell here last night. I was looking at the same thing when we had this 3 drive right here. This is fucking beautiful, like absolutely beautiful. Surprised we didn't see any retracement at all during New York. It was just free fall. But if you look at this, I guarantee it's going to be perfect. Actually, unless maybe, well, this is really the impulse move. So let's probably drop from there. We're right on that order block. But
bouncing on Bitcoin right now.
Yeah, I filled that fair value gap right here. So I expect at least something like, most likely what I would expect is probably this hour is going to, we got a minute left. It's going to close, leave a fair value gap, and then kind of revisit price within that fair value gap.
Oh yeah, we're about to get the 4-hour close on Bitcoin, I believe.
1 hour looks like it's
closed at 12.
1 hour looks like it wants. Did it fill anything here? Or not 1 hour. 1 minute, I should say.
Yeah, I have this as a spring right now.
Does it not? Do the springs? They don't have to always take out the other liquidity in the range.
Well, no, it just took out all the liquidity in the range.
Are you talking about for this up here, the reaccumulation or something?
Yeah, that would be the reaccumulation to the accumulation to our left. because I have us basically retracing extremes before expansion.
Like
I
this.
actually, yeah.
Okay, that's what I was thinking.
This move that we have on Bitcoin right now, I've actually when I'm on since I'm on the charts 24/7, when I was shorting Bitcoin, I see this inverted, or I saw the same exact move inverted as like the UTAT or the manipulation phase, where you get massive displacement to the opposing side of where price wants to go.
Right.
And then it just ends up being a massive liquid. You get your internal market structure breaks with displacement, and then you come back into the range, and then you finally expand. So I actually have this bottom right here as a like potential bottom for Bitcoin right now, as we just continue to retrace extremes, because I've noticed that we retrace extremes a lot before we have a big move.
Right. Yeah, because it came all the way down to this little fair value gap under that low right there. Also, anybody on YouTube, okay, they can hear. Okay, good. I've heard somebody told me they couldn't hear people on YouTube, and I was like, what? Somebody, but no, yeah, what's up, Adeliki and Carl? That guy 556 wants to look at RSR, so he wants to look at ETH. Let's do ETH. But yeah, now for Bitcoin, I really want the lows taken. These lows right here. ETH. Let's see what ETH's doing. So ETH hasn't made. I was hoping ETH had maybe made a lower low. ETH is like honestly cleaner in my opinion than corn. If we look at once we come up and we put in that what we're anticipating to be the high of the week in the higher time frame price delivery array, break a structure afterwards, and then price respects. I think it was a 15-minute supply candle. And if you take that was the OTE, I think this is actually pretty clean. Really, I would draw it to here, would be the impulse. So I would write it to OTE, and then more breaks the structure of the downside. Probably get some relief where we're at, but overall, it's kind of weird because we really haven't moved much away from the Monday midnight candle. Or I'm not sorry, not much away, much towards the Monday midnight candle. So really, as far as the weekly candle structure goes, it's interesting because we're kind of just hanging out. I mean, it is NFP week, so but as far as like the lows you take out of ETH, I mean, if anything, I would think at this point Bitcoin or ETH looks better than Bitcoin, but just because it doesn't have those ominous fucking equal lows in the range. But again, I could very well see the market maker sell or buy model wait till we take out the sell side liquidity of the range. The last price we moved really, really expansive off of that hasn't been taken, which is that 1355 mark. Weekly imbalance just below it too. That would be the higher probability setup I see. ETH doesn't really follow. What is this? Okay, that's which one is my days are fucked up. Okay, yeah, Tuesday is the 30th. So it made its high in the Asia session, which is kind of weird. Well, usually you look for the high or the low to be made Tuesday to Wednesday, but I mean, if anything, it'd be the high. I mean, we haven't made it a low, so as far as the lows getting taken, I mean, if you're talking about this, I could definitely see it. I mean, I could also see it the last little push up. I mean, form like a pretty nice redistribution into this supply candle up here in the daily imbalance, but I wouldn't count on it. And NFP is going to bring a lot of volatility, so that's really what you're going to want to be focusing on. Yeah, somebody said RSR. Oops, wrong one. Haven't done TN in this one in a while. I would say these lows are going to get taken. All that down there, pretty clear level of stops. And that's in the weekly frame. So there's, looks like you've came back into this imbalance as well. Yeah, this is pretty clean. Honestly, this looks like more of a short than Bitcoin or ETH, in my opinion. So you can't have 4-hour fair value gap that we've revised from it. It's actually the daily fair value gap too. 4-hour fair value gap is a little bit bigger, but filled the daily fair value gap. So now the price pushes away. I haven't really formed that swing high yet, but I would think that price is at least looking for this imbalance right here, if not lower. I would keep an eye on this breaker. If price, I mean, it looks like it kind of already came back down, came into it, and then had a little pause, drop base drop. This could be a POI in the future, though. I'd keep an eye on it. So there's something cleaner on the 1 hour, maybe. Yeah, I would just use this 1 hour. And the reason I'm picking that is it's the last, order block. Theoretically, it's a breaker block, but before we took stops of the buy side liquidity, the range. So, honestly, it could have been right here. This could have been the breaker because that's what we reacted off of. That's probably what it was right there. We've got a pretty big order block here that seems like we're low time frame is kind of accumulating into. I would probably look for that potential sell entry up there. I'll set an alert just to watch it and kind of study it, even if I don't take anything or signal anything. It's only answer to IMB. It's just imbalance, by the way. But yeah, I would look for a potential little push up into that zone right there. And then after that, I would look to come take out this sell side liquidity right here. Because that's where the last point you really, not PDO, the last point you really moved off of was down there. Also, that might be, no. You just took out your previous daily low with this last little push down as well. And the equal low. So yeah, I mean, you took out one in form of sell side liquidity. Now I'd look for a rush back up above the range. You had your deviation here. Now deviate back up into the fair value gap. Then from there, I would look to take these lows. It's actually a really good, pretty clean setup in my opinion. And you could even, hold that into the weekly open, if not lower. I almost want to take a little swing on this shit. Somebody said, could I explain? Okay, wait, there's a couple. Are there going to be more MPIX traders posting trades in crypto on crypto? I really want more trades. I mean, I don't think there's anybody we're thinking about bringing on at the moment, if that's what you're asking. near, and then can I explain an ICT breaker block versus standard OB? Yeah, breaker block is just the last, think of it like an order block that pushed price up and took buy side liquidity. Yeah, I like this setup though. I want to see what the risk to reward on it is looking like, because honestly, I would like my stops. My thing is, there's these equal highs up here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for price to get up in this zone, and if I get a nice reaction, I'll take a sell. What's up? Carl said WD Gans theory. If Wednesday makes the top of the week, we are going lower on Friday. Yeah, it's yeah. If Wednesday makes the top, you'll usually see a lower. The only problem with Gans theory, I feel like, is like that's a hindsight thing, because like there's not much more to it in my opinion than that. I guess you can use it with your bias. So he said, what creates that sell side liquidity on RSR? So what I'm looking at is when we're in this, we've established this range here, right? And when you look, where did price move the most, rapidly away from? It's going to be here and here. So that's where you're going to be your buy side and sell side liquidity. This range is going to be. Now we have different areas, in here of liquidity, these equal lows and then this high, but your major range liquidity is going to be here. Also, it's resting right above that daily imbalance. And it pushed us up to mitigate these orders. Somebody said, oh, what's up, Mr. Taylor? Haven't heard from you in a minute. I hope you're doing good. Near, yeah, I got you. Somebody else asked for near too, so. Actually, I don't. So crazy. It's been a while since I did T on this. I think that sounds about right. Yeah, I like this 2.515 level overall, like mid to long term for near the equilibrium of that weekly order block and the monthly imbalance fill. Overall, the weekly here, I would say that we're drawing towards all of this down here, really the major low at the bottom. Yeah, the weekly candle is bullish at this moment, but if you ask me, I think the daily bias just kind of had to be bullish for the first couple of days this week to come up, take out all these highs. Oops. And come into this daily imbalance. I actually really like this. Well, I might take some swing sells here.
Just hold on to these bitches.
I forget the levels right there. Oh! The fuck was that? Like an aggressive yawn. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and swing some near sells. So we'll get to these questions. I've been thinking lately I want to start just getting almost like trading crypto as little side moves, because I don't really watch. I don't watch any like Bitcoin, so I can't trade anything really else in the funded. I mean, I can, but the spreads are like fucking horrible. But I do want to start just swinging some trades on crypto, some alts. Yeah. Also, please make sure to manage your risk according to the stop loss. Don't ape in near.
What's risk management?
Okay, so let me look. What's up, Bjorn? I'm doing good. How you doing? Also, Adeliki said before the question, kindly check Matic. Seems interesting. Can't remember when we had done that. So where we're at with Matic, I mean, it's not really at a premium of the impulse move here. Probably during a 4 hour, it probably is, though. If you're on a 4 hour, it is. But the daily chart, you could also potentially look at this as a breaker. Yeah, I mean, I think this is going to provide some nice sells as well soon. Maybe even starting now. I mean, we're in this imbalance. I'd almost like it to tap this candle right here. But there's also a little supply and demand flip zone over here. So overall, it's building a lot of trend line liquidity. The daily liquidity is pretty clear. It's this where we started this impulse move here. And then you've got this weekly imbalance right under it. So overall, I would be looking for a potential move to the downside. So he came up on the weekly and filled this fair value gap. Saw a nice reaction. I wouldn't really call this a shift in structure. I mean, you could, I guess. That would be like your shift in structure on the weekly. But yeah, I mean, overall, I would be leaning more towards the bearish side of this. But I could see it. It almost would want it to come up and tap this, but we'll see. And the 1 hour still shows it very well could, too. So, but yeah, a lot of liquidity building up on the sell side. Trend line. Retail traders are going crazy on this trend line. Be clear in a 15-minute. All that's going to get taken. Could rebound after it gets taken. I'm not saying just all going to get, but I would lean more towards the bearish narrative of going down and rebalancing price in the weekly and taking out that low. NFP is, like, again, with everything, I think the NFP will bring a little more volatility and will push things in the overall, not the initial move, but the overall move caused by NFP will show us the market's hand, just in a sense. Because if the stock market starts rallying due to employment, being better than expected, that's going to cause crypto to do the same. Somebody said, or Adeliki said near 4.33x. Why didn't I consider that? Because I'm not going to be sitting here like watching. If I'm going to trade it, I'm not going to sit there and watch it all the time. That's not where my time's going to be at. If I'm going to do it, I'm just going to swing off the higher time frames. When I first look at a new pair, what am I looking for regarding structure to tell me if a pullback is significant or not in the various time frames? So whatever, if you're saying a pullback, like if you're saying for like some like basic market structure and supply and demand theory, it just really depends on the pair you're trading. So I would get really in tune with whatever pair you're trading and determine, back test and see what's the average amount it pulls back. But when swing structure is formed. But a lot of times, just being honest, I would just eyeball it. You can kind of just look at it and tell sometimes whenever if you're trading the asset a lot, like a euro swing is going to look different than a Bitcoin swing, I mean, this looks pretty rough too overall on the daily, that 3 drive, just like Bitcoin, massive move to the downside. Now we're kind of coming back up to that breaker. And also, I just looked at the weekly. There's a breaker on the weekly that we are in. So Matic is probably going to be framing some sells here soon as well. Again, that trend line liquidity building up. Tons of lows down here. Everybody's viewing this as support. The highs are getting manipulated, falling breaks of structure time and time again. So I would say this is getting distributed. And again, you're going above the Monday midnight open, pushing up 3 drive on the 1 hour into a higher time frame price delivery array. I'll actually set an alert for this just to see. So if we get a nice displacement break of structure there, we could get an entry off this 3 drive. I really would be targeting down here. Also, I appreciate you watching the streams, Bjorn. Tell me some TA. Oh, you said okay. I just not saw these. What did you see on S&P 500 this morning? I didn't see anything. I didn't watch it. I don't want to trade intraday on the funded. I can look back. I got my cat. My cat's in here trying to get in the fucking cabinets. It's annoying as hell. So this morning on S&P, fucking maximum pain here. I mean, you had the pretty clear liquidity resting under all this, right? I think Haas actually from the group had a really good take on this. There was an OT entry. Let me show you guys. This is what he sent me. I didn't come up with this. Was it on this or NASDAQ? Hold on. I think it was S&P. I'll just show you his tail. It's fucking clean. So there's the accumulation right here. Manipulation up above the high. Take the liquidity. Then we went to the downside. Got that expansion. And then with that expansion, you had an optimal trade entry sell. Pretty clean, if you ask me. That was the best look I've got on S&P today. I think that was on a 1 minute chart, wasn't it? Or a very low time frame. Yeah. Very clean. But overall here, I mean, pretty clean move into creating an imbalance. I like this. Oh yeah, no. Divine asked me about this shit. I was like, why do I have this marked? I looked at this on my phone right before stream. So I'd look at these equal highs right here. I'm not gonna mark it. I don't want too much on my chart, but look at that fair value gap getting front, right? I think it's a 4-hour fair value gap. It's what's left of one. This is a zone I would watch. But I mean, yeah. I mean, and that would also be probably repricing this daily imbalance too, because we created an imbalance, we blasted through it, pushed back up into the zone, repriced lower, down. I mean, really at this point, it's almost like we want the freaking range lows. At least this down here. There'll be a lot of stops under this, so you'll see some kind of rebound. And I think that would go in course with Bitcoin's equal lows getting taken as well. But I mean, on top of that, I will say though, we are on a weekly order block. Really, probably this candle would be the one. But it's kind of, this candle's already been mitigated because, price traded through it right back down. So that's why I marked this one. And then it's really not a high volume candle. I did mark it, but not the highest conviction in that zone. And the weekly bias pretty clear that we're going to close to the downside. So, depending on NFP tomorrow, we could see more expansion down or a volatile move up. It's really, luck of the draw there. Nobody really knows. Well, I'm sure some know, but we don't know what NFP is going to bring. But again, I mean, I think that the bears are heavily in control here. So any longs and on the S&P should be taken extremely aggressively. Like if I'm taking longs in the S&P, I want to take, very. Hold on 1 second. Motherfucking cats, bro. Sorry, I had to run these little bastards downstairs. Can't focus. They're in here trying to, I don't know if you guys can even hear it through this mic, but they're in there trying to like claw open the fucking cabinet. So it sounds like somebody's just like banging a cabinet shut. But yeah, that this would be the zone I'd be watching up here. I said, do you think the Coinbase near auction will affect the near swing? It could. I mean, I didn't even know that was a thing. I really don't pay attention to. I just watch the price, to be honest. Like if it's a very high volatility news event, I usually sit out like day trading. But like you could tell me that, like for instance, like the Mount Gox stuff and all the merge and all that. I really like. Yeah, I mean, I keep it in mind, but to trade off of that, there's a difference between, for instance, like if you're looking to day trade something and it's NFP, it'd probably be smart to sit it out. But if you're in a swing trade or looking to swing, or even if you're day trading, I wouldn't try to trade off of the news. There's a difference between sitting it out and then like letting it influence. I'm not saying that's what you're saying or asking. I just wanted to make a point that, like for instance, I'm not gonna, if I see something I like on a coin and like ETH could look bearish as fuck, and somebody says the merge is going to be bullish, and I would still short. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. I said to get a good high time frame bias, would I rather look at the market cap than the price for more accuracy, especially on tokens that do not have a defined number of tokens? I wouldn't look at any of that for a price action bias. So to develop a good high time frame bias, I would use the daily and weekly charts. Oh, hold on, these fucking cats. God, my bad, guys. Little fuckers. But yeah, to develop a high time frame bias, I would use the higher time frames. I wouldn't use any kind of data like market cap. I mean, you can use market cap to determine whether you even want to look at the coin or not, but don't use it to develop any form of bias. Soul, got you. Okay. I'm going to move this to the midnight. I would tell you, I would say that this is going to close bearish. I think we went over this a little bit yesterday or the other day. Very similar to Bitcoin, honestly. And see how we're pushing back. Like if this was going to be a bullish week, you ideally wouldn't want to see it back here. Because, you know, think about it like this. If we're going to be, if there's going to be a bearish, just like here, just this is a good example. When there's a bearish day, like what you're looking at right here was the daily structure that was bearish. You see that move up at midnight and then a move down. And it doesn't really close super bearish, but it was a bearish day. So the whole structure of a candle you're looking at is to determine, you know, if we're going to be bearish, you're going to want to see a push up initially because every candle is going to have a wick, right? So, you know, and also to engineer a false narrative and liquidity among retail investors. So for instance, if market makers wanted to push price down, they would first push price up and then that would be your wick and you would see them move down. But I will also say we're probably not going to see much of, you know, any kind of rapid expansion either because, you know, it's Thursday and we're still sitting at the weekly open. So really this week was more of a consolidation on the grand scheme of things than anything in my appointment. I think we went over this a little bit. Yeah, I remember it's starting to. So again, just like all crypto, 3 drive. I mean, sell side liquidity below is going to be the target. It's $25. You know, I don't know. It's going to go straight there, but overall weekly target for me has been 18. These equal lows for a minute. But I mean, I think that could be a while, or who knows? It could be 2 weeks from now. We never know. We've seen worse with crypto for sure. So I mean, you know, looking at the overall chart of Sol, I mean, Jesus. Like if I'm looking at the monthly chart, I'm saying this shit's going like literally back to like unreal numbers, but you know, that's another day, like sub $10. But you know, we'll stay on the weekly for now. But overall, not looking too hot. If you know, if you do start to see, let's see here, yeah. And it's make or break it where you're at here. If you don't start to rebound here, I would look more for the lows, which is probably what I'm leaning towards, to be honest with you. I was looking for this low right here. That's where your range sell side liquidity resides. And also Bitcoin's lows that I was talking about. I think that'll bring price down to it. I wanted to do this. I think I posted this. I know I posted the Discord account. I posted it up. I want to see a move. I wanted to see a move lower on USDTD, you know, for a short-term bullish narrative, but it said fuck no. So at this point, I mean, this tells me that we're just going to the overall target, which I thought we were going to go down first, but it did not. It really just went down to equilibrium of this imbalance, or did it? I don't even think it did. No, very close. I'm actually going to delete this, delete my little path that didn't happen. So it seems like even after taking, you know, this fair value gap and filling it, I mean, price is still massively bullish here. So this tells me that value is still being accumulated into Tether. I would look for these highs at this point. There's nothing else I really see that's drawing towards it. I mean, the weekly looks fairly bullish as far as this wick. Interested to see how this weekly open theory works. Yeah, so see, look, it's even here into the bottom. See here, we come, and if we're going to be bullish on something, we see a massive move under this weekly open. You see that low formed on Tuesday right there. I'm interested to see if this actually works with Tether. I mean, it looks very clean right here. And then once we get that, low formed, you get a break of structure, take a move from the impulse candle body, which I would say is probably right here. Move it to here. It came lower than OTE. It came really lower than the thing with the wicks. So that's interesting. But overall, I mean, you're looking pretty clean for movement to the upside, in my opinion. This imbalance would be the next draw that I'd be looking at. I mean, overall, these highs would be the target, but I need to get rid of some of these templates. There we go, much cleaner. Okay, so Sheeb was the next one, I think. Yeah, Sheeb. And also, Back End Baby said, when I did my funded, there was a certain session I like to trade more. Yeah, New York open. London's cool too, but you got to be careful. Like if you're going to trade London, you really need to be trading. You need to wait for the stop rate. Wow, we talked about this. I wanted to get into a sell on this. I just wasn't watching this shit. I would never hit it anyways. That's why. I mean, originally wanted to get in a buy here, but that did not. We never got into it because there was no confirmation. This was the high we wanted to get broken. We never hit into these equal highs either, but it's Sheeb, so you take it with a grain of salt. Yeah, filled this imbalance, and then off to the races. Daily is going to be going for most of these lows here. I mean, got some equal lows right there. I would say I'd say that's your next target. So, if you're trading intraday, you'd frame trades around that narrative. I mean, really the only thing I see on the weekly is this imbalance right there, and then the major sell side liquidity to the lows. This is where you moved off that accumulation that really started that massive fucking sheep pump. Yeah, ask away. I'm gonna be hopping off here pretty soon, so. Really wanted these highs to get taken, but they did not. Cucked. Oh, wow. That's crazy. Dollar finally hit our target. That's any of you guys who've been watching these streams know we've been talking about this imbalance for a minute. Could see some relief for financial markets if we reverse there, to be honest with you. And I mean, if you don't, then I don't, GG's to the world. gonna be interesting to see what NFP brings. Because if NFP is I mean, that could be pointing to larger investors anticipating a better than expected NFP number. I want to check something out really quick. Dude, I swear, TradingView sucks. Like, I literally don't, like, I haven't had this volume. I delete it every time that I watch two charts, and I copy all my indicators and hit save, and it literally never does it. I don't know why. If anybody knows why, please help me, because I've been trying to fix this shit forever. Okay. So it has made a lower low. Okay, no divergence there. What I was looking for is divergence on the bond market and the dollar. I know that there was a divergence. I'm going to actually go over that on a different stream, maybe tomorrow, to just give an example. For those of you who've been watching the videos for a while, when we called that the market was going to rally at the beginning of July, which it definitely did. I think it was like July 6th was the day of the stream. We said, I think it's the link, it'll be, or not the link, the videos, it's in my actual live uploads. It's Will the Markets Recover? I gave a very detailed description on how to use the bonds market to determine these kind of moves, and obviously it worked very well. But you can also use dollar divergence with the short-term bond markets, like the 5-year. So that's your, basically, if you're using the divergence, we'll just go ahead and do it. Why not? I've already started talking about it, and I'll get off after this. That's 5. I always forget. This is the only one that starts the number. So when you see something like this, see right here how we made a higher high on the bonds market, and we made a higher high on dollar strength index. So that's a classic divergence, because you should not see this happening. So now, if the dollar is gaining value while one of the largest accumulated assets by very, very large investors are playing in these markets, right? And these are also determined off of numerous economic factors. So if this price is going higher while this price, not price, but while the dollar strength index is going higher, that's going to lead you to be able to develop a bias that this is just being distributed. Because if there is obvious upside in the dollar, that value is going into this gas tank. Just think of like two gas tanks, and one's getting siphoned out to the other, but this one's having a delayed reaction because larger investors are manipulating the high in order to gain liquidity to sell. And you can already see they've started to distribute all among this range up here. So that's why you see this massive sell-off like that. And what this also anticipates is a short-term increase in United States interest rates. Also, look at the times. This was August 2nd. Go back and look whenever Jay Powell said he was going to, that we should expect pain and that we'd have to hike more. That was last Friday. That was August 25th. Also, up here is before this massive move. So you can use this to catch or assist you when you're developing, macro TA for the next, short term, next, quarter or couple weeks. Just like we use the 30-year and the 10-year notes with the S&P and the dollar and all the other major indices when you're using the monthly price delivery arrays. Just that was simple, just order box. But this is a little bit It's not harder. It can be kind of tricky to get the hang of it first. And you can do this with any benchmark asset and then an underlying asset as well. So you could do this with the S&P and the NASDAQ. You could do it with Bitcoin and Ethereum, like we talked about yesterday on stream. Whenever Ethereum made a higher high and Bitcoin did not, that can lead you to believe that crypto is being distributed, because Bitcoin is the benchmark asset, and then Ethereum theoretically is, the underlying asset. And if you see one of them making a higher high and the other one does not, there is a divergence there because they are usually moving in correlation. So if one makes a higher high, you can determine that higher high might just be distribution. Now, of course, you don't just want to pull the trigger and open a sell just because of that, but you can use it along with other TA. Another thing I want to stress is trade the time frame you're seeing the divergence on. If you see a divergence on a 1 hour, take a 1 hour trade. Don't say, oh, 1 hour smart money divergence, we're going down to daily range lows. You can't do that. But this is a good example of how that can be used. Somebody said Adam. So I think there's a weekly fair value gap. Yeah, price pushed up on that weekly fair value gap, took the range equal highs right here into that order block. Massive move to downside, but no break of structure in the daily. The 4 hour, though, on the other hand, definitely broke structure, and now we're sitting right back in that zone. Really, this massive candle here could refine it to probably, I think, this up here. This looks similar to another coin we just looked at. I think it was ETH. So move into this area right here. And seems like we came right here after breaking down. Okay, too many boxes on my screen. I know where we're at. So moved off that pretty impulsively, that 1 hour order block, because I would view this, because it's the large, there's more institutional volume in this candle over that. But, we not to say we can't return there. Once you hit into it, you rated highs into it, displacement at the downside, kind of bounced before you got that break of structure, which might be, that could be a potential liquidity raid. Price came back down to this imbalance. It's really make or break. I mean, I would, if it was going to continue, I would look for it to continue here. But this, yes, we got a displacement to the upside, but you see it kind of reacted, it coiled up as it hit these highs, just pipped it and moved to the downside. Now we're getting breaks to the downside. So kind of a fickle place, kind of just consolidating. Somebody said GBP USD and then CAD JPY is the last two I'm going to do. I mean, I would say the weekly is drawing towards this low. So your weekly drawn liquidity would be down here under these lows. Same with the monthly. Like you're going here. That's really, I mean, it'd be pretty cut out for you, in my opinion. I think you just should be looking for sells. Very clear downtrend as well. I mean, it's really, if you see, it's just, this one never really got a retrace into this tiny little fair value gap, but it's just expanding the downside pretty rapidly. Again, DXY can just keep an eye on DXY. But I would say you're moving down towards this area. I wouldn't just get to sell and target it, but I would say, frame sells around that idea. JPY. This high. I haven't traded this pair in a minute. But that's what it looks like to me. When you came down, you took out this low into the imbalance, moved rapidly away from it, and you formed that swing low. So I would say you're seeking out the next area of liquidity, which is that buy side at the weekly high. You had some equal highs right here, but I don't think that's going to stop you. I would look for this high up here. And you've repriced this fair value gap. You traded through it, kind of traded back. Now, if you get under this fair value gap, like let's say if you get under it, you're bouncing around here, you would sell. I would look to sell off. But other than that, I would look for this high. So really, just this daily fair value gap would be my kind of a guiding light there. Which one is good, Forex or crypto? I mean, they both can be good. I mean, it really just depends, on your trading style. I mean, I would highly recommend, if you're trading Forex, to really get in touch with liquidity, because it's just endless manipulation. And when you're trading Forex, you need to also be pretty disciplined with your sessions, and also be very aware of news for any currency that you're trading. So like this pair, this would be considered something and you could trade it. I guess it's a CAD pair, so you could trade it during New York or Asia session. My experience with Forex is I would play major crosses only, like euro dollar, pound dollar, Aussie dollar, stuff like that. Like something that has two of the majors in it. Because I mean, I don't know. Maybe theoretically somebody's going to say it's a major cross, but I would consider like EU, GU, UJ, GJ, stuff like that. Do I trade futures? I trade discount futures, I guess you'd say, on S&P on MetaTrader on the funded account, but I don't trade like index futures on brokerage. But on that note, guys, I'm gonna hop off here. As always, I appreciate you, and until tomorrow, just stay safe. As far as day trades go, me personally, I'm not really opening any more intraday stuff before the NFP swing. I mean, I opened the swing trade on near, but whatever. I'm not going to open any like scalps or any day trades on any Forex pairs or anything like that, or indices tomorrow, but we'll stream and we'll go over the price action and kind of see if it gives us anything or shows us the market's hand. But until then, stay safe. If you got any questions, you know how to get at me. Yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow.